Well, I sure would like a cigarette.
Well, why don't you bust out a Dawson?
A Dawson, that's right. Your favorite.
Dawson cigarettes. That's right, Dawson cigarettes. Nothing beats a Dawson except a possum.
I wish you would stop smoking the damn cigarettes.
Hey, your wife said stop smoking. Didn't you know these are health aware? The doctor prescribed me these. See, this is what happens when you let women poke and go to work and wear pants. They start going cuckoo-cuckoo.
That's right, Bon. You tell her. That's right, honey, you heard him. Hey, what's this?
All records recorded in Oklahoma City at the Supernatural Studio. Yes, at BDRP Supernatural Radio, you'll have art news recording artists like Merle the Pearl.
The best things in a life are free, but you can get up to the birds and bees. I see fun, right on. That's what I want. Guess what I want.
And of course, hot new young recording artist DDT.
Your love give me such a thrill, but your love don't pay my bills. I need fun.
Your host of these festivities was also your friend and mine. That's right, the man of Bigfoot himself, T-Dog.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the BDRP Early Show. I'm your host, D-Doss. Glad to be back with you, folks. Talking to my co-host and brother Merle. We start talking about these Dogman creatures, as we often do. There was a very strange case that happened here in southern Oklahoma. It's been many years back, but you've heard me speak of the black dogman that's down in Brown Springs. And I was it was longer than that. I think about 4 years ago, actually, but the incident took place long, long ago. A woman down on the Red River said she saw a door open in her backyard, and it was a door made of this orange glowing light. And every evening, this door would open. It would stay open for about 30 minutes, and through that door, what she called a big black dog would walk through, or a big black wolf. So this black dog man, and it's on the Texas side of the river, this black dog man would come through this portal at around the time of dusk. And right before the sun came up, this portal would open up again, and it would come from the river, go through it, and it would close back. And this was an every night occurrence. Well, she got a hold of these folks in England that can, how do you put it? They're not astral projecting. I guess they can remote viewing, which that doesn't even seem like an appropriate term, but that's neither here nor there. They could remote view her area, and they're the ones that came up with this, this theory that this was what it was. This was a dog man, an interdimensional being. A strange thing about that is 100 years ago, down in the same area, they talked about the big black dog. Even today, people see the big black dog down in Brown Springs, down on the Red River, on the Oklahoma side. The big black dog was wandering around those woods in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when there was also frequented by a cannibal family. They would move their camp around within the woods down by Brown Springs and in Brown Springs, which at the time was very rough and inhospitable territory. There were gators, hogs, you name it, snakes, all sorts of venomous snakes. But these cannibals would supposedly waylay people, drag them back into the woods, and, barbecue them. The crazy thing about it is everything I can find on it talks about how they would throw the entrails of whether it was be animal or person to the big black dog so it wouldn't have to work too hard for its food. And they ingratiated themselves to it in such a way. Well, they were going with this whole cannibal gimmick for a little bit too long. And they messed up and kidnapped a Texas Ranger's daughter. This whole family of this little girl was, they were Rangers, either Rangers or law enforcement on the Oklahoma side. So they got a posse together and combed the woods, drug the cannibals out, hung them, and all that kind of stuff, right? The crazy thing is, geographically, where this was supposed to have taken place is as the crow flies right across the river from the trailer park where this woman saw this orange door open up and this big black dog, or this upright walking black dog, go through, enter and exit. It just made me think, and this woman, of course, had terrible nightmares, sleep paralysis, things moving around in her house. And that shouldn't be an equivalent if these things are some sort of a physical creature. Why is that always the case? Why are things manifesting in your house when you see a scary physical creature? I've seen a wildcat or mountain lion. Seen in person, going fishing. Went down this slough that was dried up to get down this guy's property on the back end of Fish's Pond that was spring fed. And I got down this slough, and of course the ground level's basically above your head, about a foot or two. And I heard this rustling in the bushes above me. It was fairly decent visibility because of the angle that the slough came down, and it wasn't just a steep drop off. But I looked in this bush and saw these eyes looking at me. And you could see, you have to focus your eyes, but you could see it in this bush. And you could see, like, when a cat gets ready to pounce. I had a little 25 on me, so I, took a couple of pop shots at it. I didn't hit it. I wasn't trying to. I wish I did, because that was a long walk out of there. But that's a large physical creature that could have laid harm to me, and I didn't have nightmares and sleep paralysis and things moving around my home. There is a camp of scientifically minded people, which is fine, but it really kind of condenses the understanding you could have when you only look through the barrel of what's physical, what you can see. And I couldn't put myself in that place where that's all there is the physical, the tangible, what you can see. Even astrophysicists and theoretical physicists agree that we experience between 10 and 15% of known reality. Only 10 to 15% is perceivable by us in the physical world that we inhabit. The rest is up there in that spirit world. Or that's what I tend to call it. The invisible world that we cannot see. And people will call you crazy. I know I got a bunch of fellow believers in here, and not just believers in the faith, but believers in the supernatural world, period. But how can you explain away going into a so-called haunted house and your physical hair standing up on your physical hair, your physical neck and your physical arm to an invisible force? The atmosphere changes. That's something tangible. And not only tangible, but it seems like it's something individualistic. It's something that is. It's moving about you in the room. And that's some spooky stuff. I don't know if you folks have had to deal with any kind of ghouls or ghosts or supernatural beings like that, but it's the real deal. And it's becoming more prevalent. I do a lot of research and investigations into a lot of different things. But one thing I've seen an increase of, we talk about the increase of the creatures out in the woods. It's all well and fine. We don't have a nailed down exactly what we're dealing with out there yet. The vast majority could be, I guess, what folks call the Nephilim, or just call a spade. They're demons. So that's what a Nephilim is, folks. I don't understand why there's such a delineation between the two. They're not the actual physical Nephilim. Those are dead. So, but as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. So as to say, they're not being brought back. We know that there's chimeras and stuff, but more to the point, and some of you in this chat may have actually experienced one of these dogman creatures. Why is it that all these things that are akin to spiritual attack, like the sleep paralysis and things moving around in your home, happen when you see this dogman creature? And I honestly do believe, and it took me 8 years to get there, but the vast majority of those things are some sort of demonic being. There's some sort of wicked thing. I do think there's a natural creature. I've always said that, but it's probably rare to the point of extinction. The natural dogman creatures in Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Virginia, Alabama. They seem to be pack animals. You never see one alone. There's usually 3 or 4 of them. But every time you see one of these pictures, like I had Jake on the other night, he has a bunch on his channel. There's always just individual, and you could feel it permeating through the screen as you look at it. There's something going on with it that's beyond what we can physically see. So I'm going to run an experiment. There's one place in this town that the BFRO has recognized as being a place where Bigfoot has been seen and experienced. It allegedly killed someone down there, though. And this has been about 5-6 years ago. There was a known drunk, homeless person. He was a professional, though. He's been a drunk, homeless person since I was a kid. All these new drunk, homeless people are rank amateurs. They're rookies. They just came around. They're Johnny-come-latelys. This guy's always seemed to have new clothes and be somewhat in his right mind. He just likes to walk around and drink the liquids out of something with a brown paper bag over it, right? Well, this guy turned up under a bridge with his neck broken. There was a creek that ran through this town at one point in time, and they blocked it off so to dry up. But the swath of woods that went through the town is still there. It's what we call the hobo jungle. You can follow the hobo jungle mostly at any point and find your way back to a river that's at the northeast of my hometown. And as you all know, there's more than just water that's spiritual in these creeks and rivers and whatnot. There's certain minerals and stones that hold in energy. Perhaps that's what they're drawn to. But they've redone the bridges in the past 10 years that go over that dried up creek bed. You know, you get a good rain, that water's gonna flow again. Well, this is when the water was flowing, and it went from just being where you can kind of, you know, as if you stretch, dip your feet into the water, to if it's dry, that's a 15 feet sheer drop. This guy was found with his neck broken, like he was tossed in there, head over heels. Well, the reason I believe that it was one of these creatures is because that's what was told to me. I wish I could say who it was, because his job lends him credibility. But he started asking me very, very pointed questions about these creatures. And folks, suffice to say, I would say that it was something that was stronger than an average man, because this was a big old dude. He was in his 60s, but he can handle himself, I bet. And what do we have in the annals of American history, all throughout our history? Underneath our bridges are trolls and rock giants, the Janoskwa. So this guy, being a tall, big dude, I don't know, maybe he felt threatened, or maybe it was just a piece of garbage. Maybe he wanted to murder him. But I can tell you wholeheartedly, people, there is an absolute connection between these dogman creatures, especially, and the adversary, this spirit world. Now, I hate bringing up the adversary anymore, because there's more than just the adversary. There's more than just demonic beings. But it seems like hell's being regurgitated onto the earth, because there's a crazy increase in sightings of everything across the board: aliens, spirits, these creatures. And I don't think that's for no reason. Allegedly, the core of the earth stopped spinning for some sort of amount of time and reversed. I was always told if that were to happen, that the earth would split in two. But apparently it did, and here we sit. I'd like for you guys to see something, because it ties into this. I don't know how many of you guys believe in the string theory, or theory that there are multiple realities. The idea of it is pretty interesting to me, and I do think it's somewhat plausible. And looking at it religiously, to be fair, we do have different elements to our personality which dictate our judgments in the moment. And to be completely fair, to be a just and benevolent, omnipotent and omniscient God, those personalities that could be more dominant somewhere else. Some people are like a flat line. They're plain Jane, boring across the board. They wouldn't get excited for a house fire. What if there were these alternate realities? Every perceivable alternate reality. So every perceivable part of yourself could step to the forefront of your conscious mind and act on your conscious decisions. Because if you're a person who leans more into aggression than being complacent, you're going to be making choices through that lens and vice versa. So we, having brains that are more intricate than any computer ever made, have many different points of interest and points of reference and life experiences that we make our decisions through. To be completely fair, seeing as how we can pull from those at any point in time, seeing as our minds are a big computer, what if one were more dominant than the other one somewhere else? What kind of decision would you make under this circumstance instead of that circumstance? And if that were to be true, there would only be one man who was the same throughout all realities. And he's not even a man, he's the God man. It's an interesting theory, but it was just a theory until I seen this video. And folks, I've put this in my editor. I actually worked on a video for you to break it down. But the Mandela effect, as you all know, the Mandela effect is, it was always seemed like circumstantial crap to me, like F-R-O-O-T instead of F-R-U-I-T for Fruit Loops. Who cares about that stuff? That's not something you consciously or even unconsciously think about on a daily basis or a yearly basis. So they were pointing out little frivolous stuff like that. I figured it was some sort of psyops, MK Ultra stuff, right? Then they start showing more bizarre things, like the magic bullet theory technically doesn't work in how they're presenting the vehicle that JFK was in now. If you've ever seen the movie JFK, it breaks it down pretty good. That theory could not work if the seating arrangement in the vehicle is as it's being posed today, in my opinion. I don't know if you've looked into that, but it's worth looking at. Well, this was this idiot who opened a portal, I believe. In his home. And his nephew or his niece left one of these Berenstein Bear books. And as he walked through this portal, it's changing from Berenstain to Berenstein. Have y'all seen this yet? It's about 3 years old, but it's new to me, right? This is phenomenal. And I slowed it down to milliseconds to look for quick cuts. I mean, maybe if I don't know, maybe I don't have good enough editing equipment. It's all right, but I can't find them. And it's ooky spooky. So without further ado. Oh yeah, and keeping in the vein of tradition. World Weather Authority's in the house, y'all. What's up, nephew? Got Captain Ron, Miss Claire Ellis from jolly old England. Brother Angelo. Andy Smith. Brother Kong, Mr. James Owen, Andy Smith, again, because I like that name. NTJ 1984. Outstanding. Yeah, shut CERN down. I just kind of flipped through the chat real easy, but I've seen somebody say that. CERN has something to do with this. It absolutely does, in my opinion. You can't have something colliding particles together at that rate of speed and not have some sort of weird shit going on. So here we go. All righty. Check this out, folks. This is weird to me. You tell me what you see.
All right. This is the first video, you know. Okay. Yeah, this is weird. So
yeah, it's weird. All right, check this out. This is supposed to be the tree Yggdrasil from the world tree from Norse mythology. That's a demonic sigil. For anybody who's old school Gnostic like I was, I mean, it pops out at you. What he does, he's explaining when he switches this carpet thing with Yggdrasil on it was on this wall over here, and this wicked painting of this nun was on the adjacent wall. And for whatever reason, he switched them around. Folks, number one, I would not have this sigil hanging on the wall in my home. I don't suggest anybody does. And I just noticed, even between there, these are runes. That's madness. But look at that picture of the nun with the black eyes. That's the most satanic thing I've ever seen. And he says his nephew painted it for him.
Yeah, this is weird. So I just have to show you. I hung this thing up. I got it a long time ago. My cousin painted that picture. It used to be hanging over here.
You guys have sound?
I've decided to move it over there and put this over here just for the hell of it. I'm only bringing this up because until I had done those two things, things were normal inside of this room. This up because.
All right, y'all caught that, right? Yeah, that tapestry. All right, thank you, Angelo and Claire. So y'all heard him, didn't you? Like, until he moved that, coming in wall to wall and treetop tall, until he moved these things around, he said everything was fine. Towards the end of the video, you start seeing things manifest in there. I really want y'all's opinion. Is this real or not? Because it's not very often that I can't tell, but I can't tell on this one. I know it's ooky spooky. Cooperate with me.
Until I had done those two things, things were normal inside of this room right here. So it's the night I did this, it was just a couple nights ago, that
look at that pic. What a wicked
really
thing.
Weird stuff started to happen in that room, and things. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was seeing stuff. So I'm just gonna do this video so you guys can see, and I'm gonna show it to you live. This book. This is one of my nephew's books. It's just an old book. It's something my brother and I used to have growing up. And I started to look on the internet about this crap, and some weird stuff going on here with this name, Berenstain Bears. So,
yeah, like
I had this book.
I'm gonna get high right
again, it's my nephew's, but I had this book in my closet when they came over. I wanted to give it back to them. I planned on going out there to see them, and I dug it out.
Nope.
And I noticed that the Berenstain had said Berenstain in that room, but I come out here into just the normal other part of the house, and it says this. So just so you know, I'm not crazy. I'm going to show you as I pass through this doorway what happens, and it's fucking weird.
All right, did y'all catch that? Not the cuss word. It's like some sort of interference.
And it's fucking weird.
Of course, I go back
there. The normal other part of the house, and so you know, I'm not crazy. I'm going to show you as I pass through
right there.
This doorway what happens. And it's fucking weird. All right. It happens when it gets in the room. See it? And then back out here. Normal.
That's madness.
Yeah. What the fuck? Uh-huh. Yeah. And then normal.
What's crazy is the longer he sits still, the more you see those the weirdness that you see in people's footage that go into the woods and get close to these things. Like, I mean, it seems real to me. What do y'all think? Like, the dude's voice is kind of shaky. He's kind of breathing a little heavy. He could be like a super huge dude too, but I don't know. And just the casual way in which he's telling it seems organic to me. It doesn't seem forced or like some sort of a put on. World Weather Authority says, is there a portal or a Mandela ring there? Mandela rings are Mandela ring, meaning once he passes through, it changes, which is insane. Wonder why magnetic readings, why magnetic readings there are, or what magnetic readings there are. That's a good question. I don't know. This is definitely something. And if it's fake, like I can't tell what the cuts are. You know what I mean? I guess they can use like very subtle CGI, but then it'll put you in the uncanny valley. Your mind would know that you're looking at something unnatural. It doesn't happen in this. It's really, really weird. And just that little warbling effect that happened on the camera. Let's watch it again. Let's see. It only happens for a split second as he's walking into the room. I think it happens twice.
What happens? And it's fucking weird. All right. It happens when it gets in the room. See it? Right there.
Wow.
Anyway, he
looks back in the room now.
I just know something weird in that room. And whether or not it has anything to do with these two items.
He'll look back in there again.
Just pointed
and,
out. Like I said, everything was normal until I did that. And then I'm in that room.
That weird magnetic stuff is going on.
Happening.
It looks like something's manifesting.
I've noticed. There's some other stuff that I can't go into right now, but it's weird going on. So I just wanted to make a video about it and throw it out there and see if you guys have had any experience like this. I don't see how anyone could, but you never know. Anyway, let me know. Thanks.
But see, there's other things that make it seem like it's kind of fugazi. Like, let me tell you something. If I'm walking, first of all, I'm not going to be staying in some room that's a portal to a somewhat different dimension. Because, yeah, that's just, it doesn't seem like a comfortable thing to do. And the other thing is, like, it doesn't really make sense to me why I know what age we live in and whatnot, but my first idea would not be to put it on my YouTube channel, believe it or not. I mean, there's a scientific explanation for it. Shut up. I'd get somebody who has a scientific mind towards that fact, a physicist or some sort, to like kind of walk me through what's going on. Or it could be some sort of demonic type thing. Like, you know, he's got a heavy duty in there. He's got fast acting and acting. One of those, what you call a strong man. But I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Thank you guys for coming for this early show. And I'll see you tonight on Late Show.